And speaking of road work, an $8 million project will bring a much-needed upgrade to a road in Ohio City.
The Frank neighbors and the councilman representing the area of Fulton Road are concerned about not what the project is bringing in, but rather what it's taking away. News 5's Jordan Vandenberg shows us why.
It is a neighborhood in constant motion. And it's why Gina Matucci,
I've lived here for about a year,
moved into this front porch colonial at Fulton and Chatham.
being in such a heavy pedestrian area and just watching the city.
And soon, she'll be watching her neighborhood change, specifically Fulton Road.
That's going to make the street much more of an attractive place to be for the neighborhood residents, for cyclists, for other folks as well. And it's going to improve the neighborhood, there's no doubt about that.
Protected bike lanes, on-street parking, and a revamped corridor. It's all part of the $8 million two-phase renovation of this often traveled connector, where drivers treat the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit as a mere suggestion.
The Fulton Road Rehabilitation Project calls for the removal of the stoplight at Fulton and Monroe. The project also calls for the removal of the stoplight at Chatham and Fulton, just a couple blocks down. With those two stoplights gone, neighbors are worried.
They're talking about removing stoplights, and if you're trying to make a more walkable, bikeable city, removing stoplights that create more speed and more availability for cars to be just driving through, I mean, that's counterintuitive.
I share the concern.
Councilman Kerry McCormick is in full support of the project. The removal of those two stoplights, however, not so much.
This road is going to be smooth. And there's already issues of speeding on the road right now in the condition that it's in. And if you make a smooth road and you remove stoplights, you know, that could incentivize drivers to drive even faster. My main priority representing the neighborhoods is ensuring that we have safe streets.
McCormick and the neighborhood at large want the decision to remove and replace the stoplights with flashing crosswalk signs reconsidered. Potential alternatives include keeping the stoplights, putting in a four-way stop, or other traffic calming measures.
I'm open to other alternatives from a stoplight, but what I'm not open to, and one thing that we will push back on, is if we simply remove the traffic lights and tell people essentially to defend for themselves. That's not a safe condition to be in.
The biggest concern is there is a bus stop right here, and if people aren't stopping, one way or another stoplight or a stop sign, I don't know, I don't want to see what a future like that looks like.
The neighborhood around Fulton Road is in constant motion, and the hope is that perpetual motion doesn't create peril in the process. In Ohio City, Jordan Vandenberg, News 5.
By the way, construction expected to begin in late February or early March.